Hey man, so welcome to the ISS podcast, bro. And I just want to say, getting you on, Master of Puppies, and you've got a backstory that people are going to want to hear. And
I don't know about that, but yeah, I've done some cool stuff in my time. But thanks very much. I appreciate it. I've definitely been wanting to come on here for a long time now. So it's my first podcast too. A little bit nervous, not gonna lie, but it's all good. But yeah. Just finished up 20 years in the Defence Force. Starting from the Navy, ending in the Army. Awesome career. I'm sort of missing it at the moment. But you know, I'm living the life on the Goldie at the moment and absolutely loving it. So yeah,
because mate, we could unpack this for about 5 episodes, but so far we've got ex-Navy clearance diver and then moved to 2 commando as a doggy, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So before that, I joined when I was 17, straight from school. Hated school. Just wasn't doing good. My old man, he's still serving at the moment in the Navy. He's a coxswain in the Navy. Anyway, enough of that. He got me in the Navy. I joined as a bosun's mate. Did that for 6 years. It was a great job, great first job to join the Navy and learn the ropes, travel the world. I always had that ambition to change over and be a clearance diver. You know, it's the coolest job in the Navy. Did that for 10 years. Did some really cool stuff with that. I went out to Tag East. I was a diver there for nearly 2 years. And then the dogs came in. They brought the dogs into 2 Commando. I was like, that's me. I've always wanted to work with dogs my whole life. And as soon as they came in, I just put my transfer in, did selection, did Rio, got to the companies. And I remember when I first got there, they had my interview with the boss. And he's like, why'd you change over? What do you want to do here? What do you want to do at the company? I was like, mate, I changed over to work with dogs. Like, that's my goal. It's my passion in life. And he's like, oh, that's cool. We need a dog handler. You're on course in 4 weeks. I'm like, oh, my God, it's happening. And anyway, like every time I saw the dogs at the companies or at the range and stuff like that, man, I just couldn't stop looking at them. You know, I was on course and, just watching them everywhere they went. I had a smile on my face all the time every time I saw them. And, mate, just getting on course, passing that course was just the best achievement of my life. And then just working for them with those guys for the following 6 years was amazing, man. So, yeah, I recommend it to anyone in the military to work with dogs. Doesn't matter if you're a commando dog handler, MP, RAF, whatever. As long as you can work with the dogs, I absolutely love it and recommend it to anyone.
That's a pretty unique way to get in. Sorry, Max, but there's not a lot of people. Everyone that I've ever met that wanted to do selection to go east, west, any kind of SF unit, it's because they want to be the baddest motherfucker there and do all the good jobs that you see in the movies and that. Yeah. I've never heard that anyone wanted to go through selection so that they could play with dogs.
When you put it like that, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
The fucking mate, it's a big feat to accomplish.
I know, man, but I've just got that passion and drive for those guys and for the dogs. I just always have. And I know it's funny, but it's just my mentality. No matter how hard it was on selection or even training up to do all that sort of stuff, I was like, I'm doing this for my dog that I've never met yet. I know it sounds stupid, but that's what I always had in my head. I can't let my dog down that I'm going to be with in the future. Do you know what I mean? So I always that had me going and all through the tough times. It's just thinking about that just over and over and over, So
that's
got me through, man.
What are they? Because and it wasn't an EOD dog; it was an attack dog.
Yeah, attack dog.
Let's pretend I fucking know nothing about doggies, mate. I know there's ones that bite you, and I know there's ones that stop you getting blown up, mate. But you work with attack dogs, or as Keegan likes to say, land sharks, mate.
Yeah, the land sharks, 100%. So, yeah, they're the big bad attack dogs, the 2 Commando dogs. They're amazing to work with. We generally work with the Belgian Malinois, which I'm actually getting one in 2 weeks, a little puppy. So I'm a little bit scared about that. But we'll see how we go with that. The German Shepherds, as well as the Dutch Shepherds as well. Pretty much the high drivey sort of dogs. So obviously we need those sort of dogs because they're just very high drive. They can work all day. Pretty much where we go, they go. Everything we do, they've got to come with us, So if they're jumping out of a plane, if they're jumping out of helicopters, the cars, boats, you name it, they're with us. Even during the day, I get my dog, take him up the office, do some stuff on the computer. He comes with us. The boys love it. And then, go out to the range and do our stuff all day with them at night. And they're just like little sidekick, your best mate. It's absolutely amazing working with those guys, And all the boys that work there, they've just got a hell passion working with those dogs. And a lot of those guys don't like to take leave. And I was one of them because if you take leave, your dog's training slips, right? And your dog is a representation of you. So if your dog looks like shit, you're shit, all right? So no one wants to look like shit, all right? So the boys just never wanted to take leave, you know what I mean? Even over Christmas, we tried to take all the minimal leave we could, just so we could keep our dog to that standard of training. So you never know when you're going to go with you. No, you can't take those ones home. I mean, those sort of
the kids. You can't
yeah, they don't really see kids or any of that sort of stuff. You could take pretty much most of them home and trust them. The good things about our dogs is, especially the SF dogs, is we need them to be have some clarity, all right, around people. We need them to be social. We don't want the dogs that just want to. Oh, there's a person I don't know, and try and bite them or have a go at them. We call them shit dogs. All right, we don't want those dogs. All right, we want dogs that have that clarity. When we tell them to bite someone, then they will do it, not otherwise. Okay, so we need them around all the boys at all times. We need the boys giving the dog direction. Sending the dog into certain rooms. If anything ever happened to the handlers, one of the boys has to take charge of that dog. You know what I mean? So we can't have a dog that just wants to bite everyone because the boys just become scared of them. They don't want to go near them. So we need those social dogs, as well as being a big, bad, tough motherfucker, okay, which pretty much they all are. So those dogs, they're just constantly on selection. As soon as we get them from wherever we get them, we're training them and testing them and, just all the time. So they pass their course, they're still getting assessed all the time. They're just constantly on a selection. If their training starts to go downhill a little bit, we have to reassess, have a look, and then we possibly might have to rehome them, pass them on to another organisation. I don't want to say who, but in the military, or the handlers can potentially take them home as well. But pretty much, if the dog is due for retirement, or we have to pass them on, generally the handlers get first preference of taking the dogs home because, they've got such a bond with those guys and they've put a lot of time and effort into those guys, and there's just so much, respect there between the two.
Because what's the three breeds? So you're saying the Belgian Malinois. Did I say that right?
Yep, Malinois.
Malinois.
It's sort of spelled like Malinois, but we say Belgian Malinois. The German Shepherd, obviously those two are completely different places, but people always get them confused, okay? Because the Mallee sort of looks similar to a German Shepherd, generally a little bit more agile, a bit smaller sometimes, and the hair's a little bit shorter as well. They're got a more athletic build, and they can pretty much go all day, where if you get a big German Shepherd, there's no way I would want to lug that bloody thing around and jump out of helicopters and all that sort of stuff, But yeah, we like the athletic sort of dogs. As well as the Dutch Shepherd was the other one that I was talking about. So they're similar in size, just a little bit different looking, and again from a different place also. And
so mainly the Dutch, mainly the Malinois, or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so a lot of people say Malamute, which is completely different. Obviously, they're big white fluffy things. Okay, so don't get them confused with that.
And so you jump these dogs out of planes, out of choppers. They are strapped to you when you jump it out.
100%, exactly. I never ever got to free fall with my dog by myself. I never actually got to do the course. But I did do a tandem with one of the boys with my dog, which was an amazing experience. One of my goals was to, be able to get on the freefall course and jump with the dog. It never happened. So many other things got in the way, and so I ended up having the chance to jump a tandem a couple of times and getting my dog qualified to do that as well. So that was amazing.
Do they behave themselves? Like putting a dog on a C-130 or whatever you're jumping out of, like, is it like?
So like anything, it's just all about workups, you know, like you need to slowly get your dog used to being around the airfield, slowly introduce him to the plane. Then once the plane's turning on, then you can slowly start bringing him in and then putting him on the plane and then off the plane, on the plane. Sometimes we just go up with the boys and just sit on the plane while it takes off. We wouldn't do anything. It would land, then we would get off. So we're just working on their environmentals, okay? So pretty much we want to do that sort of stuff as early as we can in their life so it doesn't bother them when they're older, you know? So, but some of the dogs we get are a little bit older when we get them from overseas or if we breed them ourselves. It just depends. So, it can take a little bit of training. Some dogs are just born for it. They don't care, whatever. Just give it to me. Some you need to sort of coach them in and get them used to it. But it is what it is, with dog training.
Is there like a specific word? So there's obviously a word that is, or you just let them off leash and then they know what to do? Or like, how do you direct a dog to bite the person you want them to bite, mate?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. And I'll probably get pulled up for some, trainer. You do it this way. I mean, there's so many ways to train a dog, okay? Like, there's not just one particular way. That's why there's so many dog training methods out there. We've moved around from method to method. We're always trying to better ourselves all the time. That's a really good thing I like about Two Commando is we don't just go, this is how you do it. Okay, we're just going to stick with that. We're always trying to find other trainers and learn things from those guys and just work on how we can make our training better, how we can make our dogs better, how we can make our handlers better all the time. And that's what I really love about working at Two Commando. Not that I'm working there anymore. So that's the training wise. What was I going to say? Fuck, just went mind blank. Sorry.
That's the training difference between what you're doing now versus what you're doing before. To train a dog to bite someone's fucking arm off versus to train a dog to not shit in your house. How different is it?
Completely different. So completely different methods. Obviously, completely different drives with those dogs. Like, so I'm working with little chihuahuas, cavoodles, staffies, up to German shepherds, pit bulls, all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of a change now. Every single dog is different. And that's the good thing about this job is it's every time I go to a new client, it's always different. Dog training is all about problem solving and just working out their problems. Again, not every dog's the same. This method might not work for this dog. This not might work for this dog. So we have to problem solve that way. But the working dogs, we're teaching them to, at an early age, bite rags and bite everything you can, jump up on the tables, jump on top of a car. We don't care. Just do all that stuff. Now I'm teaching dogs, don't bite me, don't nip at your owners, poo on the pee mat or whatever, all that sort of stuff. So it's completely different. So we're not trying to bring these drives out. We're trying to calm these dogs down now and just be well-mannered, easygoing dogs, okay, instead of big, ferocious fighting machines, which I do miss it. I do miss the working dog side of things. I'd love to go that way on the outside. I've got that mad passion for it, but there's already a few organisations going at the moment with a few, ex-serving members from all around the ADF. They're doing a pretty good job. And those dogs go very quickly and there's such a market for it. I just don't know if I'd want to go that way. At the start, you need a bit of cash to get that sort of thing going. You need to buy some decent dogs. You need to buy some property. You need to hire people to help you, to kenneling and all this sort of stuff to develop these dogs. It's really hard just to develop one or two dogs and have them in your backyard, and treating them as a home dog. We need to treat them as work dogs. And a lot of people do have problems with that, treating their dogs as a work dog if they are a work dog. Especially for the army dogs, we need them to be work dogs. And no matter what situation they get put in, they have to thrive in that, you know. We don't want them, oh, what's that noise? What's that noise? Or stuff like that. So they just, you know, they need to thrive in those environments. But saying that the pet dog industry, it's a very big industry, but there's a lot of shit trainers out there. There's so many shit trainers out there. And I think that's why Master of Puppies is doing so well, without talking myself up too much. We've got the background of working with these high-intensity dogs, as well as working with little puppies to the chihuahuas and stuff that I was talking about. So we're very well-rounded. Every time we go to someone's house, we're very confident in what we do. We know exactly what we're going to do. Our processes are the same for every single dog. Our method's very easy for the owners to pick up. Dog training can be very, very confusing for people. So marking at the wrong time, giving food here, not saying this word here, blah, 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 blah. And all these stupid myths and stuff out there, you know, like, for example, your dog's not allowed to eat before you. Your dog's not allowed to walk inside before you. This and that. It's all bullshit. It's all these stupid myths from, you know, back in the day.
That's everything that I
have never let a dog eat before me because of that reason. I'm like, oh, I've heard that I'm the alpha in this pack.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Mate, hearing that, you got to be the alpha and alpha this, alpha that. Oh, mate, fucking bullshit. You know, you've got to show them, yes, you're the leader, okay, and, you know, they've got to do everything you tell them to do. You need to have control over your dogs, and that leads into safety. Without control, then you don't have safety. You know, I've had a fair few people, clients in the past and friends, who their dogs have been hit by cars, you know, because someone's left a gate open or their front door open. They've run out, seen another dog across the road, bang, got hit by a car. Go to the dog park, let their dog off lead without any training, and they see another dog or whatever, they're going for a run, they end up on the road, they get hit by a car. You know, if you don't have the control with the obedience training, then you have no safety either. You know, so obedience with any dog is key. Without obedience, you've got nothing. You can't do sports training. You can't do military stuff. You can't do home dog training. You need to have and set those boundaries in concrete at the start. I get a lot of people contacting me when it's a little bit too late. You know, so there's dogs, you know, 6 months, year, 2 years old, whatever, and the dog's bitten someone. Like, what training have you done in the past? Oh, no, I haven't done anything. Why not?
When do you get? When is the time? When's the Goldilocks time to start training a dog?
As soon as you get your dog, mate. So the dog that I'm getting in 2 weeks, it's only 6 weeks old. I'm lucky because I'm sort of helping the breeder out with some other training on the side with some other dogs. But she's offered for me to come out or let me come out to do some training. And that dog's only 6 weeks old. There's some international trainers out there, you know, they breed these dogs and that's their life. And they'll start training at even younger than that, you know, doing odor detection and all this sort of stuff, where I'm trying to set that as early as I can. But home dogs, you don't have that. You know, you don't have that because you might be getting a dog shipped in from somewhere and the breeders aren't going to give you the dog until they're 8 weeks old because they need to stay in that litter for that 8 weeks. So they're learning off each other, they're learning off the mum and all that sort of stuff. But pretty much as soon as you get your dog 8 weeks, whatever, from 8 weeks onward, we will train dogs. Okay, it's pretty much all about the start. Yeah, the dog might not be picking it up straight away, but it's all about teaching the owners. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, just commanding the dog to do things, tonal conditioning, so talking to your dog in a particular way so they understand. Correcting your dog for doing the wrong things, we help with that sort of stuff. There's that whole positive only movement out there at the moment where your dog does something right, it gets some food. Dog does something wrong, recommand it and give it some food until it does the right thing. Your dog's not learning. Again, like I was saying before, there's so many shit trainers out there where they're taking these dogs out of these situations. So, for example, I've had a few aggressive dogs lately, and I'm like, cool, have you had training before? Yes, I have. The trainer told me to take my dog to an industrial area for about a year to 18 months and don't let it see any other dogs. You fucking serious?
So antisocial fucking killer.
Oh, my God, it kills me, man. So what you're doing is you're putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, really. You're just hiding the fact. you're not teaching the dog right from wrongs. You're not teaching it anything at all. You're just taking it away from that situation. And it's just never going to learn. You know, putting food in front of
my partner is the whole positive reinforcement. I'm like, no, if it does something wrong, I could be talking shit too, but she's like, no, you only encourage it when it does something right. Positive reinforcement. I'm like, no, give it a smack, mate.
Yeah, sure. So again, that positive whole movement of dog does something right, gets rewarded. Yeah, no worries. Your dog might, tell your dog to sit. Yeah, I'll sit. I'll get food. 100% understand that. But we need, with that whole stuff, a lot of people are doing the training wrong with their food training. What they're doing is they're feeding their dog treats upon their daily intake of food. Okay, so they'll, some people give their dogs food in the morning. I do that. And then they'll train with their dog throughout the day, smackos and liver treats and all this sort of stuff. And then they'll give their dog food at night time, 6 o'clock. Yeah, I get fed. Okay. Where their dog sometimes learns, okay, I'm not going to do your training. I'm just going to eat my dinner at 6 o'clock. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can stick your training. Right? That's a lot of dogs do that. Or a lot of dogs, they're only respecting the food. Okay, so, if you got food, cool, I'll sit. Or I'll come back. Have you got food? Nah. All right, I'm not doing what you say. Do you know what I mean? So that sort of stuff happening. If you're taking your food to dog parks, you've got other dogs, hassling you for your bloody food. Okay, so that's one of the reasons we don't use food with our training, because to get dogs food driven, sometimes you have to starve the dog a little bit. Okay, unfortunately, that's just the way it is to get your dog that motivated by the food. A lot of people don't want to do that. Imagine me telling, a lady, don't feed your chihuahua, all right, for a couple of days until it gets food motivated. You know what I mean? It can take a fair bit of time. People aren't going to do that, and I don't want to tell people to do that either. All our training is all about foodless reward training, and it's all about that tonal conditioning, as well as that reinforcement contrast effect, which is our correction. So teaching the dog the right wrongs, right? Setting the boundaries and giving them structure in their life. Okay, we're only teaching home dogs. We're not teaching sports dogs and all that sort of stuff. We just want very chilled, stress-free dogs. Most people just want to take their bloody dogs to the cafe. Do you know what I mean? When I was down in Sydney, I get so many people. Hey guys, I just want to be able to train my dog to take to the cafe and him just to sit there and not bark at anyone. No worries, we can help with that. Okay, no dramas. But you need to teach them the right from wrongs, give them their boundaries and the structure, like I said before, in their life. So what
about smacking and rubbing their nose in piss? Is that days gone by? You're not allowed to do that anymore?
I mean, that's old school sort of mentalities. I know there's probably still some people out there that do that, which we're definitely not a fan of. Even the working dogs, the army dogs, we've gone away from that sort of stuff. Old school, there's so many better ways to do things. Our training method that we teach is from the Alpha Canine Group in Melbourne. So a big shout out to those guys. They're amazing down there, and I did my civilian dog training course through those guys. I'm sort of basing my Master of Puppies off them, really. Okay, all that's changed is the logo, really, and the people that are training with them. So what they've done is Greg Fontana, the owner and head trainer down there, he's been a trainer for over 35 years. So he's been in the industry a fair while. The method that we teach is his particular method. It's very new. It's like 10 or so years old, and it's slowly getting out there around Australia and around internationally as well. There's some international trainers that have come over and done his course. But their training has just changed lives. It's ridiculous. The smile I see on people's faces constantly with me teaching them their method. Oh, my God, my dog in one session, it stops jumping. Or it stopped, barking or whatever in one session. It's a pretty big deal. But yeah, their training is just it's crazy what they've done for the pet industry. But like everything, there's haters. There's haters out there. The posse only, they correct dogs. You're not allowed to correct dogs. Well, they're getting some pretty good results. They're not telling people to go hide their dog in industrial areas and not see dogs for a year to 18 months or working on a dog for that particular time on certain issues. when all you could give it is a couple little corrections, and then bang, it's not doing that stuff anymore. Okay, so the way we correct dogs, it's no hitting, it's none of that sort of stuff. There is a negative side to it, and all we do is we're marking when they did the wrong thing with the no. So I'm sort of training you guys at the same time. Okay, so no. So if your dog, for an example, your dog comes up and jumps on you or a friend of yours. Okay, we don't like that. It's annoying. We would mark no at that exact time that they jumped up. Right, so your dog understands. Yep, that time, that's when I did the wrong thing. What we're doing is we're giving our dog a physical correction. I know when I say the word physical correction, oh my God, you're hurting the dog, okay? So for all you lefties out there, no, we're not hurting the dogs, all right?
There's no lefties listening to this podcast, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, fuck them. Because we're changing lives and you are. So all we're doing is giving that physical correction, and all that physical correction is adding a little bit of pressure under their collar, or we use halters as well, all right, and walking the dog around in a very slow circle. All right, think of like a small coffee table. You'd be walking around a coffee table around that size. All right, it takes about 6 to 8 seconds every single time. All right, and what's happening in that circle is you're giving that dog, okay, or they're learning from the discomfort associated when you've marked when they've done that wrong behavior. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So they start learning, okay, if I jump, I get a no, and then I get circled with that physical correction, okay? And then your dog possibly might do it again. They jump again, no, circle, walk them around, slowly release, okay? And then we start warning them as well with our tonal conditioning. Dog does it again, happens, no, circle, and so on, okay? So we're just reading that, repeating that situation, okay? We're just constantly resetting, putting him in that situation again, okay? Yep, calling him over, getting him excited, warning him not to do it. If they do it, no, circle, repeating that situation, getting him to come over, warning them, and they stop. And they get some positive praise, that positive reinforcement for doing the right thing. All right, now dog learns from association from that correction. Right, it's amazing what just that little thing has done. It's crazy.
Has anyone tried this on people? Because I don't have a dog, right? So everything you do, like this will be one of the first podcasts I'm going to go back and listen to and take notes because I want to try this stuff with my kids.
I get it all the time.
I don't want to smack them. I don't want to smack the kids. I think that's fucked. But
yeah.
I also don't believe in only positive reinforcement, not with children. They're little savages. So I'm going to treat them like dogs and train them with a method, I think.
Let's just say no.
I'm not talking about ethically. I'm talking about the practicalities. If it will work, I reckon it will.
Well,
the shopping centre, walking your kid around in a circle. No.
I'll give you, exactly. Yeah. Has a tantrum, so you get on a little bouncy car.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. Something similar to that. I actually know a lady in Sydney I was training. She's doing this to her horse. Right. So
100%.
And she says it's working. It's nuts.
So no longer the master of puppies, it's Dr. fucking Doolittle, the animal whisperer, mate.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly.
Because is there so off the street, you've got a particularly amazing set of skill sets that you can turn a dog into, effectively weaponize a dog. Is there licenses? Like, are you allowed to? Let's say that I've never met you before, and you have and some way I coerce you into, hey man, I want to teach my dog to be an attack dog. And I bring him to you and we do it. Is there a licensing thing where you're like, no, bro, it's illegal? Or
I'm pretty sure every single state's different. I've moved up to Queensland now, so I'm not really sure of the rules and regulations up here. I think you need to join a sports club up here. New South Wales, I think the same sort of thing. I could be wrong, so don't hold me to this. But I'm pretty sure Victoria is very strict, standard Victoria. They're very strict on that sort of stuff. I know some trainers down there where if they train out of their fenced area, they'll get in so much trouble, massive fines, probably shut down a business and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, there would be rules and regulations of that. I am not teaching that that sort of stuff because I need more people. I need all the equipment. It's a lot of time and effort with that sort of stuff. And most people don't want that anyway. There's not too much of a market for it. especially up here. I mean, yeah.
What's the requirement? Like, so who would need them outside of cops and military who train their own? Who would need a civvy attack dog trainer?
Well, you only for the sports, really. The bite work for the sports is generally the only people that want it. Or I get, a few bikies here and there. Nah, man, I don't do that stuff, and I'm not set up for it. And I don't really know the legalities.
Is there any civvy security companies that have dogs?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I keep seeing one around the Goldie cruising around, so I'm sure there is. But again, I'm not sure of the legalities about it. So yeah, it's really hard to say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What about Dobermans? Because like you watch Arnie movies from the 80s, and every dog that he had smack their heads together, they're always Dobermans.
Yeah.
Are they good to use for?
Look, I like those sort of dogs as well. I like most dogs, but I don't want to badmouth it. I never would. But there's some trainers and people that use them around the world as well and say they're the best dogs in the world, that they love them. I love working with the Malleys, and I'll just continue to work with those dogs. I mean, some people have probably just brought up those dogs and have always worked with them, so they just continue on working with those dogs. So I mean, good on them if they want to do that sort of stuff. No worries. But there's so many different dogs that get used for certain reasons. They probably get used for intimidation because they're a bit bigger and pretty strong. Like the German Shepherds, a lot of the cops use those for their GDs because they're big and scary. And I'd be scared of one of those things trying to have a go at me as well. And that's sort of why they sort of use those dogs. But we use the Malleys because they obviously can go all day and they do all the stuff that I was talking about before. And if one of those guys get injured and we have to carry them, it could be a long haul. So we've got to carry all their stuff as well as them and so forth. Especially when if you take a dog overseas, my dog always drank more water than me. So I've got to carry his bloody water as well. You know what I mean? So you got to think of that and their food and their all that sort of stuff. The handlers have to carry all that shit with them. So we sort of don't have to take certain other things off the boys, which is awesome.
Because what is it? Working when we talk about how you treat a working dog, because there's people, there's Sydney suburb. People that, and then there's people that grew up in farms. Like there's working dogs, and then there's the family pet, and they're treated completely differently, right? Like
yeah, 100%, man, 100%. With the work dogs, I know at Tucumado, they've got the indestructible beds. Apparently, that's bullshit. And they've got the concrete as well. And they've got the little areas I can go in and out of. That's just what they're set up for. We need them to be able to go anywhere, obviously around the world, and just be comfortable. If we're giving them, like comfy beds and heaters and all this sort of shit, it's just not going to help them when they go in those environments. All right, it's just going to be a little bit harder when you do take them to those environments. So we just have to be nice and hard and firm with them, and treat them as working dogs. Not getting hugs off everyone. We call them getting little hugs, like little hug sluts. We don't want that. Yeah, the boys can come up and have a pat and stuff like that, but they've got to ask us first. Generally, we don't want them just coming up and just getting pats off everyone, because then our dog's just going to keep doing that, and stop working and stuff like that. So generally, once the harness is on, no one touches him. All the boys know that, and job's on. And the dogs, they know when the job's on, because everyone's getting their gear on, everyone's sort of getting amped, and there's that feeling in the air. And then you got orders and all that sort of stuff. They come with us there, and then job's on, mate. They're switched straight away.
Mate, we did this, mate. This is a fantastic point. So there's 2 points. So one of them. So me and Keegan went over to New Zealand, did an exercise in New Zealand. We were working with EOD dogs. And they were the same. Like when the harness is on, boys, can you not fucking touch my dog?
Yep.
Because he knows he's working, and I don't want to lose. But when the harness is off, it's cool. And we were in an ambush, and it was all training stuff, and it was freezing cold in New Zealand, man. And this dog, this handler gave up his sleeping bag to make sure his dog was warm, mate. He's like, no. And outside of that, fuck, what was I going to say?
Got too excited about the sleeping bag story.
I got so excited.
I think Max, you almost got attacked by him, didn't you, when you went up to go wake up his handler?
Yeah, I went to wake up the handler, and he was like, "Let's go." I was like, "Whoa! It's your mate's Pickett, mate. Just."
And he's like a little like King Charles or something, like a little fluffy.
Yeah. I love working, and yeah, shout out to the New Zealand boys. They're awesome dudes. I've worked with a fair few of those handlers, and as you know, you guys are probably tight with some of the New Zealand boys, and we're very tight with the handlers over there as well. But the EOD guys in Australia, like I was always down there trying to work with those guys, learn with those guys, and there was never fuck you're just EOD handlers or any of that sort of stuff. We always wanted to work with them and learn off them, and same as them learning off us as well. So we're always very tight with those guys as well. Even the whole two commando and SAS bullshit that goes on up and above in the ranks, it's not like that with the boys, especially the handlers. They're fairly tight as well. If anyone needs any problems and stuff like that, it's always been no problems to give them a buzz and have a chat, and they're always more than welcome to come to the kennels and hang out and all that sort of stuff as well.
Because you'd have some anxiety, man. Like I fucking love dogs, and I can obviously tell you do too, mate. But when you're sending your dog into harm's way, and you're like, he could possibly take a bullet for me. Like that would be you've invested so much time and emotion into this dog.
100%, man, and that's what I was saying before about you have to treat it as a working dog. I mean, as much as it would suck if your dog did get shot and killed, I mean, I'd definitely cry. There's no doubt about it. But it's just the way it is, man. One of their main purposes is to put their lives on the line before us, to save the lives of us, really. It's sad, but at the end of the day, they're a working dog. And that's just the way it is. They don't get a choice in the matter. You know what I mean? It's sad, but it is what it is. So treat them as a working dog, and it'll be a little bit easier for you. I remember going to the kennels for the first time, doing a little bit of work experience, and I was treating them like a little bit like home dogs, and always talking to them and cuddling them and all that sort of shit, giving them pats. But you certainly realise you work out that they are working dogs, and you have to treat them like that. Otherwise, they're just going to want to get pats and roll on their back and pick up a bloody stick and all that sort of shit. We don't want that. We don't want any of that sort of stuff. No picking up sticks, no chasing bloody animals and all that sort of stuff. Like, they don't get given balls or kongs and all that sort of stuff. They don't just get left in their kennels. We have them on hand to play with them. Right? So we're continually bonding with our dog, and we can take him out and give him a brush and all that sort of stuff, give them a play and that. So they have to work for their balls and their kongs and all that sort of shit. They don't just get given it like home dogs do, So
did you have the opportunity to? I mean, not trying to be insensitive. Well, no, whatever. Did you have the opportunity when you went out, take them overseas, take a dog overseas, and actually get it to do a live bite?
No. So unfortunately, Two Commando hasn't had pretty much barely any of that sort of stuff. Pretty much our capability was around for a while, but then the war obviously went away, and then all the the rotations stopped. So pretty much when I was on Rio, the trips overseas pretty much stopped, the rotations. So I missed out on all that sort of stuff. I never got to take one of the dogs overseas. All I got to do is, I was a handler at TAG a couple of times. Become one of the instructors there and help develop all the dogs coming up. So unfortunately, didn't get to take one of the dogs overseas. Again, that was another massive goal of mine, but you can't help the shit overseas. As much as we'd love to go back.
You can't say it publicly, mate. You're not allowed to pray for war.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But sometimes I'm glad that it didn't go over. But then I really wish I did as well. You know what I mean? With the dog, would have been a great experience. For all the handlers. But unfortunately, it's not happening at the present time. Hopefully, it doesn't happen anytime soon either. But yeah.
Because sorry, mate, go.
I'm taking a step back. Like if questions are popping into my head that are like bouncing around because I've got so many dog questions.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
I have no structure to the way I'm going to ask questions. So if you want to keep this structured, Max, you better tell me to shut up.
Mate, there's no structure.
But I'm just looking at the way that, like, what you're talking about. Like, there's a lot of people, and I know there's no lefties listening to this podcast. They gave up on us in episode 2, but there's a lot of people out there that look at dogs being trained like this, even farm dogs, anyone you're calling any animal you're calling a working dog and going, oh, that's cruel, that's not humane, making it sleep in a cage on the concrete. But then at the same time, a dude's going to give up his sleeping bag in the middle of the night when he's freezing cold to give it to his dog. So there's obviously a lot of love there.
100%, man. 100%.
And I think that's the bit that's being missed. Like, from the outside looking in, people who don't understand the military, don't understand what soldiers do and what attack dogs do.
Yep.
They look at it like, oh, you're just treating this thing like a working dog, giving it a shit life,
totally,
so it can go and die for you. And it's like that's not the case. Like, you do as your job, you're training this animal because it is lower down the food chain than humans, so that it could potentially save the life of soldiers. That's a plus.
Yep.
You're sending it into harm's way before you send yourself in, which would be a hard call if you're doing it to you, because you're treating it like your mate, like your fucking brother.
100%.
And you would never want to, if the chance arose, like you and me were standing at a door, who goes in first? You're going to send yourself in first rather than sending the dude next to you, or ideally anyway.
Of course.
So I think that's the bit that's missing in a lot of these people's lefties generally are missing a lot of the facts. But
totally,
for this especially, it's like you got this animal that you're training as a working dog. It looks like it's got a hard life, but really it's fucking well loved by everyone around it.
So I know our dogs especially, they get the best of everything. Those dogs have an amazing life. Yeah, they do spend a bit of time in the kennels. Yeah, I'll give them that. But we use that time for them to rest and get stronger. Where they have the best vet treatment. The government spends a lot of money on these animals, and we always go to the best vets and all that sort of stuff. They get looked after by the boys. There's just constant love all the time. The boys are so excited. They get there in the mornings. They always get their dog out. All right, there's not one person that just walks past their dog. All right, they just constantly first thing you do is you go straight to that kennel, get him, mate. Here you go, mate. Give him a play, throw the ball, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And he's with you all day long because you want him to be. All right, and he sort of has to be, but you want to be around your dog all the time. They get to do some cool stuff that obviously a lot of dogs don't get to do. They're always out on car rides with us all day long. They're in the ute or the vehicles with us. They're going overseas. They're going on trips. They're doing all this cool training. They're getting fit. They're staying healthy, eating the best food. Like, the food's so expensive. Getting mutton flips every couple of days and all that sort of stuff. So they get well looked after. The boys love them to bits. The whole overseas and, looking after their life sort of thing, especially the SF world, you've got to be very cautious to the environments you're going to send your dog into anyway. So the boys are smart boys, okay? They're not just going to, there's people firing at us, let's just send our dog. You've got to be smart when you have to send your dog. And we do a lot of training on the dog course, the dog handler course with that. And we set the boys up to fail sometimes to see what they do in those situations, because we don't want our dogs just getting sent in to fucking get blown up or get shot. So, like I said, we set the boys up in those situations. There's gunfire coming. Send your dog. No, we can't send a dog yet. There's gunfire. Cool, that's what I wanted to hear. Awesome, good work. Sweet, stuff like that. So, the boys are very smart that way in sending the dog. If you feel like his life's in danger, then you just keep him on your hip. You don't have to let him go just because there's a firefight going on, you know what I mean? Sometimes the best time to use your dog is obviously at night time. They're very hard to hear sometimes, man. Hey, we do a lot of training at night. SF, you got it. Yeah, it's all good doing it in the daytime, but they're going to see a bloody dog coming from miles away. So nighttime is very, very hard. And we set the boys up in certain situations, and sometimes we have to put glow sticks on them because sometimes they're just on you. Like, they're so quick and they're biting you already. So we need to have the glow sticks set up so we can see them coming, so we can prepare for that bite. Because one of my good mates who used to be a clearance diver, and then he was a commando and then a dog handler as well. he was doing some training overseas with one of the dogs. From scenario was light to dark. So the dog came in from outside into a very dark room. Right, his eyes obviously didn't adapt, and he ran into his leg. And then my mate bent down, oh, I'm up here. And then the dog jumped up and bit him in the face. Like, just missed his eye, probably about there. All right, just went bang and just came off. So he was very lucky there, didn't lose an eye or any of that sort of stuff. And this dog was, one of the best dogs I've had, one of the best biters we've ever had. And, yeah, awesome dog. So he could have definitely done a lot more damage. In that situation. So, but
I don't know what it is, man. I mean, obviously we've evolved with, and like that's where wolves. I don't know, mate. You've probably done more research, but the narrative I got taught was that wolves used to hang around with humans, and then you throw scraps, and you sort of evolved symbiotically with these animals, and then we sort of fucked up some of them into chihuahuas and all the rest.
Cavoodles.
Yeah,
but it's a psychological thing, man, because there are some hard people that I've met that are scared of zero situations and going and putting themselves in harm's way. But then when you put a dog in the mix, they are like, fuck that, dude.
100%, man. Totally. And that's, you'd think there'd be people lining up to be dog handlers, or I always thought there was. I was like, fuck, I'm never going to get in just being a bloody lid, joining from straight in the company and, asking if I could be a handler, because I thought there would just be a line up through the door. A lot of people don't want to do it because they're either scared of dogs, or they don't want to put in the extra time and effort because, handlers always getting there early, always staying back late and looking after their dogs. But yeah, there's a lot of tough guys out there. There's tough guys that have been overseas and done some serious shit that are like, get the fucking dog away from me. don't bring it in,
From the opposition, like psychologically, that's got to be a force multiplier. Like most of the boys, you have this I'm bulletproof mentality in your head. I can go into a gunfight. I'll probably be all right. And then the other team comes up with dogs and you're like, nah.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I'll sit this one out, I think.
100%. Like, and with some of our training, we have an off-lead capability, which means we let our dog off hip. We can control our dog around the environment. So he's searching himself. So he's searching in the rooms because we've taught them to do that. They'll come out of a room, they go into a compound. They'll do that all themselves while we're all fighting through, and then clearing the rooms or the compounds and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes when the dog's coming back and the boys are coming through, they're just like, oh, fuck, please don't bite me. You know what I mean? But we're, the dogs are really good with their IFF, because we teach them that. We're always training in cams, and we teach them not to bite the guys in that uniform and that's, the body armor and all the weapons and all that sort of stuff. They know that. But there's the bad guys overseas, they're sort of onto that sort of shit because they're wearing multicam as well. So how do you teach a dog to not bite us, but to bite them? You know what I mean? So it can be a little bit hard. Most dogs pick it up pretty quickly. But generally what we do is with that sort of stuff, before we go do a job or whatever, we'll get the dog, walk him around our team or just walk him around all the boys. So he's smelling. We've all got that sort of the same sort of smell, you know what I mean? Where if you took your dog overseas and put him near, let's say, a Middle Eastern person, obviously they're going to have a completely different smell to us as well. So they're generally going to know the difference there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that every single time we do training. And we have a bit of a call. We have like an IFF call that we teach the dogs that we're friendly. Won't give it away, but we do that every time. Every time we do training, even if we're doing some training in the backyards. Okay, the boys are in cans, we'll bring the dog up, give them that call. The dog knows, yep, they're friendlies. Sweet, no worries. Even if, there's a doorway or whatever, the dog's coming through, the boys know to use that command. All right, yep, friendlies here. And the dog's, yep, cool, and just keeps punching past them. So they're pretty switched dogs, but it's taken a lot of bloody training to get these dogs, And you see the Malalas and all these sort of dogs on the movies. Was that one with Keanu Reeves not long ago?
The one where his dog gets killed.
Yeah, that's
John Wick.
John Wick. The guys on the movie, they actually had to put a statement out and say, these dogs have taken 3 years in the making to get to this level. don't go out and buy these motherfucking dogs. Just because they're a Malamar doesn't mean they're going to do everything you tell them to do. You know, like when Red Dog came out, everyone went and got Red Dogs. You know what I mean? And then they're just bloody in the pounds everywhere after that.
Tim Kennedy made a post about people buying Mals and was like, stop fucking buying Mals. Like, you don't have the high tempo. Like, you can't keep up with them, so stop it.
They can be hard dogs, man. And that's what I was saying before. I'm a little bit scared of getting one. Yeah, I used to train the dogs, but having it as a home dog. But it is going to be a bit of a working dog for me. It's going to come to all my training sessions. It's pretty much going to be the face of my business. It's not going to be doing bite work or any of that sort of stuff. Probably a little bit of odor detection just for fun. I might start teaching people to teach their dogs to find their car keys or their phone or something like that.
Oh, mate, I need that.
Just for a bit of fun. Just for a bit of fun. Sweet, I'll start doing that. I'll start bringing that in. So I'll probably just do, something like that. But yeah, like I've been talking to a few breeders up here while I was in the process of looking for a dog. And there was one breeder in particular where she's had 3 dogs returned, 3 Malamars returned because the people just can't control them, or they've got them in an environment with their kids and they just don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Or they're seeing the wrong trainer and the trainer can't help them and all that sort of stuff. So be wary of buying those. Yeah, they look cool as fuck and they're in all the cool movies. But do you really want one? Do you really want your house destroyed? You know what I mean? Yeah, so...
Because they're intelligent, hey? Like, they need to get mentally worked as well, do they? Or
100%, man, 100%. That's why the dog that I'm getting in a couple of weeks of, the reason I've gone with this lady is her Malamars are a little bit more chilled. Okay, so I don't want that hectic SF dog or, copper dog or anything like that. I just want a dog that's sort of like a sports dog that's going to have a bit of fun with me, throw the ball, good with their obedience and that sort of stuff. I don't need that high drive, the Mal. I definitely don't want that. Yeah, not with, I've already got a 14-year-old dog, 3 cats, and now a 5-month-old kid. Yeah, I don't need a high drive bloody Mal as well. So,
how do you deal with cats, man? Because some cats are fucking retarded. Like they're like, no.
Oh, bro.
I think you just swing them around really fast and let them go, and then they're trained, don't you?
So, I love cats. I'm not one of those guys. I hate cats. I only love dogs, all that sort of shit. I love all animals. So my missus I've been with for a while now. My partner, she likes me to call it. Girlfriend's not official enough. So my partner, she's a cat person. Okay, she's had a cat when I first met her, and then we've got 3 more. I actually trained her how to train her cats. Okay, so she's got, what the Bengals are, like the ones that look like they got spots and stuff like that. Just
you can train cats.
Yeah, man, 100%, totally. So what I've been doing, I wish I could send you the footage. I've got it on my phone. I've trained her. It can sit, it can high five, it can up high, it can lay down. It recalls from like anywhere out, wherever it is, because we've trained it for the dog whistle to come back. All right, and we take them on bush walks as well.
Mate, you're going to be a multi-millionaire, mate. If that gets out.
Mate, have you got a YouTube channel?
Not yet, but we will. I'll put some of that stuff up. I'll put some of that stuff up.
Get the cats on there. The world will fucking fall apart.
Well, I was thinking, because I'll talk about it soon, but we were thinking about opening a training facility. My missus was thinking about maybe doing some cat classes, training cats on the side. So instead of master of puppies, master of,
100%.
All right, this is slightly off topic, but where I grew up, dead end street, with a little bit through the bush down the cliff to the beach.
Yep.
20 years I was living there. Always take your dogs down. Always a dog friendly beach, good to go. About 3-4 years ago, National Park comes along and they're like, hey, it's a dead-end street. There's 10 houses in the street. Let's just fuck it up for you, Tan, and we're going to make it so you can't take your dogs down there anymore.
Yep.
If you had a trained cat, you could. There's no national park that has no cat sign.
No.
Unless it's a hidden thing. You could train your cat and say fuck you to the signs.
Some ranger
and take your cat for a national park.
I think the question is, can you train a cat to bite?
I'm sure you could. Like, seriously. Well, obviously not as good as the Mallies or the dogs, but you could definitely teach it to put its mouth on you. 100%. It'll just take a bit of time. cats generally take a little bit longer to train. It took us a little while. But because the dogs, they're wanting to please you. They're wanting to do these things. What else can I do? Offering you all these behaviors where the cat doesn't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? But our 2 cats that we train, they're the Bengals. So they've got a bit of drive. They're sort of like a dog. So we can train them. You can't do that to every single cat. Just like dogs, you can't get every single dog to be a working dog, you know?
Is there dog breeds where you're just like, fuck me, not a Staffy or not a fucking. You're like,
I don't want to say. My clients would hate me if I mentioned one of their dogs.
All right. So what about cavoodles, mate? Because this thing, everyone that I've spoken to that had like anything crossed with a King Charles, I think it's King Charles, is it? Cavoodle?
Yep.
The Cavalier.
Yep.
Cavalier. It was an anxious mess.
Yep.
Took it to training, it was an anxious mess.
Sure.
Took it to training again, it was still an anxious mess.
Sure.
So I'm assuming that was a pretty shit trainer because all they told me to do was to feed it when he wasn't anxious. I'm like, mate, this thing's anxious 24/7. I just won't feed him and see how he goes. And then he got anxious because he was starving.
They fucked him over.
Every time I took him, the minute he goes outside for a walk, mate, he is a nutcase.
Yeah, sure. Well,
I think
like I was saying before, there's so many shit trainers out there. In Australia, you don't have to be qualified to be a trainer. So you guys, tomorrow, if you wanted to, you could open up your own dog training business and go, yeah, I'm a trainer. I learned some stuff yesterday on the podcast. I'm a trainer now. You know what I mean? Yeah, circle. Yeah. Yeah. And then you get these trainers that are like, they're learning shit off YouTube. You know what I mean? Or they'll do an online course or something like that. Oh, I'm a dog trainer now. That's not really how it works. A lot of those guys and girls get found out very quickly. Well, there's a lot of organisations, like the dog clubs, for example. There's a lot of old people still running those things and they're not getting with the times. And they're like, nah, this is how we do it. And this is how we're going to do it, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get with the times. And there's so many better ways to do things these days. That thing that you're talking about, the anxieties and that, it's generally a pretty easy thing to get on top of. Again, it all comes back to basic obedience. Everything comes back to basic obedience. If you don't have that, then you can't do any of that other stuff. You know, so with being anxious and, fretting, oh, where's my owner and stuff like that, what we do with that sort of stuff is we're teaching our basics as well as shaping their behavior the way we want them to behave. So we're teaching them that we take charge of every situation and they can just be a dog, right? Don't stress about that dog over there or that person walking past or anything like that. Just be a dog. I've got this. And that's what we need to teach them. We get a lot of people where their dogs are aggressive on lead, all right? So I generally think that's because their dog's trying to protect their owners or their little pack or whatever, where we need to teach your dog, no, shut up. I'm the leader here. I take charge of the situation. Right, and it's very easy to do that. Again, comes back to that obedience. So putting our dogs in, teaching them certain positions, teaching them must stay in these positions. Even if I walk away 100 meters or 200 meters, or you can't see me or whatever, you have to stay in that position. And we teach them the game is we'll eventually come back and release you from that position. Right, it's okay, and they start to realize, oh, actually, I'm okay by myself. I don't have to fret if I can't see my owners and stuff like that. The whole separation anxiety thing, we get on top of that all the time, and it's generally pretty easy with a bit of training. As long as the owners are putting in their side of the work, it gets done pretty quickly, you know. I'm there to train the owners, not to train their dog, essentially. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I could take your dog away, and this is the thing if you do send a dog away somewhere, it can cost you a fortune as well, but you can send me a dog, give it to me for, a few weeks, 6 weeks or whatever. I'm going to charge you a fortune, but I'm going to have to come back for a few days to train you what I've taught the dog. Okay, I don't just train the dog up to a standard and go, hell yeah, he does everything. All right, here's your dog, see ya. Fuck, what does he do? He's back to doing this again. So we are training the owners how to train their dog. We're making them, sort of trainers in a way, but we're making them good handlers as well. We're teaching them what to do in every real-life situation, and we're making them more confident. There's a lot of people, and I see it all the time, They're, oh my God, there's another dog coming, and they hold the lead really tight. They're getting anxious, and their dog picks it up. I can pick it up. The dog can pick it up. You know what I mean? So we just need to teach them that we take charge of this situation. They don't have to.
No, because my dog is I got an old mongrel, 12-year-old Catahoula Cur, and he's a legend, mate. He's the most chill dog, and now it's just been creeping in. When I put him on a lead, every now and then on lead, he turns into a fucking dick, mate. Around other dogs, and he's just like, no, fuck you. I'm like, whoa, bro, what are you doing, mate? Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what we generally do in that situation is, again, we have to start their training from scratch, okay, and teach them our training method. So, again, that comes into that obedience, the tonal conditioning, so warning our dog not to do what you ever think you're about to do. Then if they do, then we correct them for that behavior. Right? But we warn them, teaching them, if we warn you and they don't do that unacceptable behavior, then they get that positive praise. Right? So in that situation, what I would do if he's a bit funny with certain dogs as you're walking past is you'll warn them in a firm voice, and then if they just keep continue on, then we know, circle them like so, giving them that warning and slowly release that collar. And then if they keep being a dick, no, and continue on like that. They get it pretty quickly, man. Especially that tone conditioning works its ass off. Dogs understand tones of voice. Do you know what I mean? They don't understand don't understand English, which a lot of people think that the dog bloody does. I see it all the time. Oi, stop! Don't go any further. Dog doesn't know. Dog doesn't know what that means. Oi, get back here, you little fuck! Blah 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 blah. Well, dogs definitely.
That's where I went wrong.
Yeah. You start getting angry at your dog, and your dog's like, "Fuck you, buddy, I'm out of here." You know what I mean? So, but dogs like that, they know there's no consequence for their actions. So, with our training, there's always a consequence for their actions. If I tell you to sit and you lay down, there's a consequence for that. Right? If you jump on someone walking past or lunge at another dog, consequence for that. Okay, but then there's also the positive side of it. When you do the right thing, you don't jump on that person, all right? Or you just nice and calm and you just stay in that sit position until I release you from that position. A lot of people don't realize they don't have release commands with their training, and you possibly might be one of them. So if you tell your dog to sit, do you have a release command to make them move?
Yeah, no.
I've got dog in
Yeah. So we have a release command. So if I tell you to sit, right, my dog will sit. Okay. If I get in my car, go to the coffee shop, get a coffee, come back, my dog should technically still be in that sit position because I haven't told my dog to release from that position yet. Okay. Where most people, they'll go, sit 1,000 times, sit, 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 sit. Dog sits. Who knows which sit he sat for? And then he's like, fuck this, I'm over it, and walks off, and people are like, whatever. You know what I mean? That's most people. I see it all the time. So with ours, it's sit. You must sit. Sit means bloody sit. It's not sit, stay. All right, sit means sit, and don't move from that position, all right, until you get released from that position. And so everything comes back to that obedience, to having that well-mannered dog, you need to just start their obedience from scratch, and that's what we do with every day. I love it. It's awesome. So good. Like, last night I had a lady where this dog was trying to take my bloody head off. It was a German Shepherd, big sort of dog. Walked in and she was struggling to hold it back, and I'm like, I'll just meet you out the front. Just put him back inside and met out the front. And she put some training equipment on him, brought him out, and then a couple of little circles later, he was good as gold. I'm sitting there patting him and doing all the training and demonstrating on her own dog how to do things. Do you know what I mean? 1 or 2 little circles. That dog was awesome. Imagine if I didn't correct it, it would just start being a dick forever still. Probably would never learn. And then, she probably wouldn't want to, starve it to do the training, you know what I mean, to get her dog to that standard. And then the vicious cycle keeps going and going. The dog's just going to be a dick. It's going to bite someone. It's going to get put down, and she's going to get fined an awful lot of money. You know what I mean? So we don't want that. So a few corrections could have just solved that problem, like we did last night.
So that routine that we're building in, because this is obviously we're pushing a proactive mental health approach and building a routine and building. Having a dog, have you seen benefit from?
Bro, the benefits of having a dog, even for myself, man. just my dog. I've had my dog for 14 years now. She's awesome. Don't know what I would have done without her. And some of the hard times. Discharging while serving. Some of the boys. Over the years passing, and just going through some rough times. It's just having that dog there always helps with that mental health, man. And I can't recommend it enough. If you're not set up for a dog, obviously there's no point getting one. So don't just go buy a dog because you think it's good for your mental health. Obviously, you need to look after it. And they last a long time, like 14 plus years, some dogs, 18 even. So you got to think about that side of it. Just don't want a dog now because you're having a hard time. But yeah, 100% at the moment, I'm training up a whole heap of ESA dogs, so emotional support animals, for a lot of ex-veterans, ex-coppers, and just some other people that have had some dramas over time. And mate, just seeing them and how they are, especially from their first sessions with me, going through and telling me their stories as well, because once they find out I've served, they open up a little bit more to me. And then they've got their dog there and they open up a little bit more. So it's, that dog's like helping them even open up a little bit more.
What is it?
What I mean?
Is it that you have someone to take care of? Is it that you have a friend? Is it that you have a purpose to get up? Like what do you think it is that
Probably everything you just said there, 100%. The purpose of, I have to get up in the morning, take my dog out of the toilet. All right, we're going for a walk now, right? It gets you out. It gets you out meeting people as well. Gets you out in the environments, gets you in the sun, gets you going to have a coffee, meeting up with other people at the dog park, socialization with, other people and other dogs and that sort of stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more of that later with our facility I was talking about. If you're having that hard time at home and, if you can't get out of the house and it's raining and you're in fucking lockdown, all that fucking COVID bullshit, obviously the dogs have gone from all the bloody kennels. I was looking for a dog a while ago when COVID was on. There was none, but now I'm starting to see, unfortunately, a lot of them are coming back to the bloody kennels, which sucks. But they're helping people through some of these tough times, and that's what they do, man. They're just awesome. You're having a hard time, they'll just come up and put their face on your lap, and you give them a pad or you give them a cuddle and all that sort of stuff. It's releases stress, man. I remember when I was on Rio, I'd always come home, get my dogs, no matter what time it was at night, I'd just take them for a walk, and it was just a stress relief for me. Just takes my mind off everything, giving them some pats and chilling out and all that. It's amazing. I love it, But I get to work with dogs every single day, so it helps me all the time. Working with little puppies, to the big bad dogs and stuff like that. I still love it. I actually like working with those ones the most. The ones that want to bite me and bite other dogs and all that stuff. I love that. Because I see the awesome benefits and the behaviour changes we get out of that, as well as I'm helping those people as well. They're like, oh, my God, you have changed our life. I've had people that haven't been able to walk their dogs for 2 years because their dog wants to fucking maul every other single dog that walks past. You know what I mean? That's not a stress-free walk, is it? So I remember one session was in Sydney, a bulldog just wanted to fucking bite every single dog. Tried to bite me a few times. Started the training, a couple of little circles later, a couple of bits of tonal conditioning. Sweet, no dramas. They took it for a walk that afternoon with their 12-year-old daughter, and she got to walk the dog and had no dramas. It's bullshit. That's just one. I've had so many others, man. And the guys down in Melbourne have had thousands more than me, way more than me. Like the amount of people they get in their training days, like in the Wednesdays and Sundays, they have like over 100 people at their
because it can add stress too, isn't it? When you've got an ill-disciplined dog, it can be
100%. That's why, mate, my last one, I wanted that for an anxiety-reducing animal, mate. That thing really drove me over the edge. I hated taking it for walks.
100%, man. I get so many people like you, they just want to be able to walk their dog. Right.
But that was down to my discipline, right? Like I did not find a way to train that dog properly.
Or possibly you've gone through a trainer, the shit that we've been talking about, and they haven't helped. That happens, like I said, a lot, man. You don't know any better. You've gone to someone that, specializes in training dogs, and you don't know any better. Oh, yeah, cool, that's how we do it. I get this shit all the time, mate. You know.
No, I was convinced, mate. Like I do try to practice taking ownership for everything that I possibly can, but I got to the point where I'm like, I think I just got a broken dog, eh? There was nothing I could figure out to get it to stop being anxious walking.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, there always is. You can't fix every dog. I'm not saying I can definitely fix every dog. I'm not saying I'm the best trainer in the world. But there are some dogs that I would never trust off lead again. And, you know, some of the owners know this. But we can get them to a level where we can walk them down the street and pass dogs. That's fine. But if I let it off lead, it's probably going to fucking go maul that dog or that kid or whatever. With the anxiety sort of stuff, that can be a little bit harder. I always find the aggressive side of things is easier than the anxieties, because sometimes it's just built in them. The nerves is just, you know, they're just pussies at the end of the day, and that's just the way they're built and they're made up, unfortunately for them. Just like some people are like that, you know what I mean?
Maybe he just took after its owner.
I'd say it was feeding off its owner.
Right there, that happens
100%. No, but you're right, man. Like people these days, we've evolved to, and dogs have definitely evolved to the point where some of these small, tiny dogs, they're just super anxious because somewhere in their DNA, they remember that they used to be a wolf and now they are a cavoodle. And I'd be pretty fucking anxious too. I used to be a gorilla, and then I woke up one day and I don't know, what's the human version of a cavoodle? We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, some of those little dogs think they're bloody wolves, don't they? You know, having to go with the big dogs, and, you know, it doesn't always end well, unfortunately. But you can still teach that. But a lot of people, especially with those little dogs, you know, treat them as little dogs. You know what I mean? Oh, no, I'm not going to correct it. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to pick it up all the time and all this sort of stuff, right? Which is definitely not the best way to do things. You know, pick your dog up in certain situations if you have to, but you don't want to have your dog rely on you all the time for everything, you know. You need to teach them to be confident by themselves, right? Putting them in these positions and all that sort of stuff that we do with our training, so...
Mate, you have fucking nailed this. You are never going to work. And they say, find a job that you're passionate about and you'll never work another day in your life. And you have the energy and the passion, the love you've got for, mate, that you're a success.
Right. So let me tell you what our plan is. So I've moved up here because what we wanted to do in Sydney, it's too fucking expensive. We want to open up a large training facility with daycare, large scale training, grooming. We want to put a pool in and all this sort of stuff. It's just too expensive to do it down there. So where else can we go? We're near the beach, got a good lifestyle. There's a lot of shit trainers. Fucking the Goldie. You. So I've got a business partner coming up whenever he comes up from Sydney. Okay, the whole COVID thing, I'm still waiting for that sort of stuff. I'm sorry he couldn't come on today, but he's got some other stuff going on. We'll find out soon who he is if you don't already know. I'm not going to mention him, but hey, mate, if you're listening, he said he's going to listen and judge me on how I talked.
Yeah.
But we're going in partnership, so he's ex-handler as well at Tucumano, and we're joining forces. So with our forces joining, we're going to fucking dominate this place. I just cannot see Master of Puppies not succeeding, especially with our drive that we have, the results we're getting, the feedback we get, and all the cool stuff that we want to do in the future. I just can't see us not doing good. So when he gets up here, once all this COVID bullshit's ended, then we're going to start to look for a place, a large place. We want to do the daycares and have, you know, dogs come to us. We can train them throughout the day if we need to. We need to have good dogs go to these sort of the daycare, so we don't want dogs biting other dogs, right? So we're going to be training our trainers and people who work there. They're going to be doing all the same trainers that we do. So they'll go through their little selection, okay, where they have to, you know, do our course, get tested at the end. Sweet, now you can come work for us. We only want the best, all right? We've worked with the best. We want to only work with the best. If you're shit, we don't have time for you, you know. So we want that. We want all our dogs to be good. So people go, yeah, you can take your dogs to the daycare because they look after them. They do some training and there's going to be no problems. Where a lot of trainers, they'll tell people, don't ever take your dogs to a daycare. because, dogs get bitten all the time and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, they do, especially at the shit places where they don't have any control. They do all the positive only sort of training. Like Alpha Canine Group in Melbourne, they get like 70 plus dogs a day down there, and their trainers are onto it. Right? Any of their dogs misbehave, they get in circles and all this sort of stuff. But all the dogs that go there, they know the procedure. They're all well behaved. One dog might get a little bit energetic and start mucking up a bit. They warn it. Dog understands. Oh, yeah, cool. Better stop doing that. No worries. Right? Imagine looking after 70 dogs, mate. It would be full on. But most of them go through the training anyway, so they're all decent dogs anyway, and we get them to that standard. Like they've got aggressive dogs, and I've trained aggressive dogs as well that are now in daycare that used to fucking attack dogs. All right, that is what it is. Training, like I said, they do like over 100 people or dogs, whatever it is, on their sessions. I've been down there many times. And just, whoa, there's lineups down the road. There's dogs and people everywhere, trainers everywhere, getting all these results. All the dogs are working around other dogs and other people. All these anxieties are going because they're training with this awesome method, you know what I mean? Like you'll have 10, 15 dogs in one little session, and each person's going in and releasing their dog at different times to other people, and all the other dogs are just staying in position while they release their dog and all this sort of stuff, It's all about putting them under distractions and learning under distractions. It's amazing. And they've got a video on YouTube. It's fucking cool, man. They had 96 dogs on a little hill, all in the drop position, okay, for 1 hour, all right, with multiple distractions, people coming in, patting each other's dogs, little remote control cars cruising around, people on a person on a motorbike cruising around, drones and all this sort of stuff. One dog broke that position in that hour, and that was that dog's first time doing that drop position in an area like that. So that's it's yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I mean, it's so amazing to watch that. You've got aggressive or used to be aggressive dogs laying next to just chilled little chihuahuas and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And not doing anything, not reacting, just behaving itself, just going to sleep, and just because of the training method down there. So I'm so thankful that I got to go down and do the course with them, because my business wouldn't be where it's at. I might be this awesome handler from Tucumán or whatever, but if I didn't go do that course down there, there's no way my business would be where it's at right now without that training method. It is what it is. So that's the training. Grooming obviously speaks for itself. We're going to get a pool in there so we can teach dogs to swim and just have a bit of fun, especially in the Goldie. It gets hot up here, so we want dogs to be having swims and having a bit of fun, and that's a big seller as well, I would want my dog to go to a place where she can swim and carry on. So we want to do that in a big aircon environment, right? So they're out of the sun, but if we can get a little bit of an outdoor area, we'll do that as well. But we're going to do all that sort of stuff. We'll have different nights for the real aggressive dogs, so they're not in with all the other dogs until we get them to a standard. We'll do other nights where we'll do ESA nights for the emotional support animals for the veterans and all those sort of things. So I'm sort of in talks with a few organisations now about that. So because they don't have anyone to go to with these dogs and training their dogs to a standard for these people. I've seen some pretty useless ESA dogs, doesn't even know its bloody name or doesn't know how to come back. How the hell does it get qualified to be an ESA dog? It's putting more stress on that person.
Is there stringent? Is there pretty, or is it pretty loose to be an ESA dog? Go for it.
Mate, honestly, it depends who you go through. I'm only just starting to get into that world, so I don't really know much about it. I know some of the organisations are pretty strict, and I think they should be. If they're not coming back, or if they're breaking positions, if they're barking at other people and dogs like that, that's not good enough. You know what I mean? I've been telling these people, you need to treat it as a bit of a work dog. Okay, you can't just let everyone come up and pat your dog. Otherwise your dog's just going to be going over and trying to get pats off people where it should be there working with you. Do you know what I mean? So that, again, it's hard to think that way, but once you spend a bit of your time with your dog, if your dog starts doing that, you're like, fuck, I wish I listened to Will. Wish I treated him more like a bloody work dog. So then you just have to go back and work on that training even more. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's some organisations out there that I've been hearing about that are pretty relaxed with their qualifications and passing these dogs, where I'm not qualified to qualify a dog yet. I've got to go do some bloody long-ass course. which I possibly might do, but we'll see what happens. But I'm starting to find people that do qualify them. So I'm going to get these dogs trained to a standard in my classes. I'm going to make sure they can pass all their tests. Sweet, guys. Now I think you're ready or you're ready. You can go do that course. I'll ring the guy up and you can go do the test. Okay, because the reason I wanted to do that sort of stuff and get into that, not only to look after the boys and girls in the ADF and the emergency services, but I learnt from one of the boys who's passed at Tucumano. I won't mention any names or anything like that, but he got given a dog. Okay, this fucking dog didn't know its name, didn't know that shit, didn't bloody know anything. Jumping on bloody tables and all that sort of shit. This guy got some dramas, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot more stress, especially a big dog like he had. More stress in his life that he doesn't need. Do you know what I mean? So when, unfortunately, he passed, I did a little bit of training with his dog and then passed it on to his brother. Now, he's got same sort of issues that person had, and now he's living the life in luxury, all right, down with that person and having an awesome time, awesome life, helping him with his stresses and all the stuff that's going on in his life as well. So that's where I really wanted to get in. So I'm like, who the fuck gave this dog to this person and who qualified it? You know what I mean? You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. So I want to make sure it's fucking legit and that our dogs are killing it and we have a fucking awesome name. And not half-assing shit, so they have to be passing these tests. Amazing.
Hey, DVA last year, I know the minister was pushing hard to make up the quotas or up the budget for emotional support dogs.
Yep,
that is a no-brainer, mate. We just got to tag the fuck out of people in Twitter to get DVA paying attention. Like, if you're going to encourage or raise budget for more emotional support dogs, get them trained by dudes who know what they're fucking doing, A, and B, are veteran dog trainers. That seems like a no-brainer.
Yep, 100%.
People that can actually train dogs and understand what they need out of these dogs.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like, I swear, man, I've seen people walking around with emotional support dogs. I reckon they just wanted to get them on a plane, so they put a red handkerchief on their back and walk their fucking untrained Labrador through the airport security. Yeah. Like, they're not well-trained dogs at all.
Yeah. I mean, those people get found out pretty hard because, I mean, people don't want to be going up to these people and hitting them up. Is your dog qualified? Who is you? Where's your license for your dog? Sort of thing. You know what I mean? Because you can buy these bloody vests off like eBay and shit like that. You know, just put it on your dog and start walking around. You know what I mean? But you find out pretty quickly if your dog's fucking jumping on tables and carrying on like an idiot. You know?
Yeah. Has there been some fucking bullshit with it all? I know there's always a negative. I know that 30% of the dudes need the problem. 70% of the dudes are probably taking it for. But when it comes to people who need these dogs, getting them and using them because they believe in it and it hasn't been watered down by people who probably don't deserve it, taking it for a piss ride, or what is your experience?
Honestly, I haven't had too much of a negative experience with that side of things, which is good. The people that I have trained with so far definitely reaping the benefits with these dogs. And one of the boys, Dave, he's an awesome dude, man. He's had some dramas in the past, while serving. He's helping with a lot of stuff going on with his business now, which is overseas, helping with the poor and stuff in different countries and all that sort of stuff without going into it too far. But he's taking his dog everywhere he goes, and it's helping him so much. He's taking it to his meetings with the people he works with and other people that he looks after that have, PTSD and some mental health issues. And that dog's helping those guys as well. So he's reaping the benefits that way for himself and helping other people. Which is fucking awesome, man, and I love that. You get that funny feeling inside, you know what I mean? And I love that, and I just want to keep doing that. And when we open that facility, I want to be doing that ESA stuff. So if you do have some problems, fucking come to us. We'll fucking help you. We're on the same level. We've been through the same shit that you have been through. Definitely don't be ashamed. Like, we want it. What we want to do is we want you, again, to be able to train your dog, and we'll show you how to do that. instead of just getting a dog that's been trained and you really don't have a bond with it or anything like that. And
it's
then
ownership as well, isn't it? Like that's
100%, man, 100%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can be a bit stressful having a puppy and then training it from scratch. If you do have some of those, those situations, I totally understand that. You might have to get a dog that's already trained. Cool, is what it is. Some people that are a little bit low on that spectrum, it might be easier just to get a dog and train it up from scratch, and we'll help you with that. Because the good thing about you training your own dog is, and the good thing about this training method is, you're creating that bond with your dog whilst doing that training. So you're having a fat time with your dog and doing all this cool training, but you're creating such a stronger bond with you and your dog at the exact same time. And that's what we want to do. That we want to get that going with people. So yeah, I can't wait to open up this place and get all this shit going and start getting all these organizations on board to help people, and fucking it's gonna be awesome.
Oh mate, we're gonna have. Go, mate.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say, sorry, boys. I've got a hard out in a couple of minutes. So I don't know if you guys are going to keep talking when I fuck off, but if you do, mate, firstly, massive appreciation for coming on as an ambassador with Swiss 8, dude. I didn't really know. I think I've met you once or twice before.
Yeah, I think we met before,
through the boys, but I know all the boys down here vouched for you and said you're a legend. And then I had a look, and this is one of the major reasons I thought you're a perfect fit for an ambassador for us, is that like we always talk about, a lot of people, especially from SF communities, step out and rest on laurels of high-performing things they've done in the military, which is always fucking amazing.
Yep.
But you've got straight out and reinvented yourself and now moving forward in business. And that's the fucking perfect narrative and the perfect model for what we're trying to inspire other people to do.
100%.
Have a sick military career. When you get out, look for something else.
Yeah.
And find a business or find a job or something you love doing and make that your life. And that is exactly what you've done, bro. And it's
100%. And like, if you don't do that, you're going to fucking struggle, man. The amount of people, and you guys would know, especially with your organization, is people get out because they've had enough. Fuck, what do I do now? Oh, fuck, I've lost. I'm going to start drinking or whatever. I mean, there's no goal. There's no clarity. There's none of that sort of stuff in their life. Where if you find something, like you said, whilst you're in, like I did, I had Master of Puppies for 3 or 4 years before I got out. I was working 7 days a week with the army and then working weekends and then weekdays and all that. So I was smashing it out, getting a little bit burnt out here and there, but you have to work around that. But I had a goal at the end, and that was obviously to discharge one day and open my own dog training business. So it's definitely very, very important to have a goal before you get out. And I can't stress that enough to fucking everyone that is thinking about getting out. You have to have something before you get out, a goal, something that you love, even better. But it just has to, man. Otherwise, you're going to struggle when you get out, and you'll probably fucking end up getting back in. Right? Be one of those style fucking people, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So where do people find you now, other than Instagram, Master of Puppies?
What are we on now? We're Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, masterpuppies.com.au. Get on board. We're making up a new website soon, so it'll be heaps better and more professional than it is at the moment. Because again, we're going to go fucking big time with this, and we want to smash it out. So yeah, it's getting pretty busy up the Gold Coast at the moment. I mean, when I was in Sydney, man, I was getting booked out for 2 months. Do
you still have dudes training down here, or is it just the Goldie now, solely Goldie?
I've got one guy at the moment. I'm training another guy up at the moment, which I'm going to put him up on Instagram probably today or tomorrow. To get him out there, and then I've got a few other people that are interested in training as well, which I'm going to do. But because of the facility that we're going to open up, I need to train a fair few people up for that as well. So yeah, we'll be smashing it out. So mate, one day you can come up to Goldie and check it out and have a look around. And, you know what I mean?
Well, actually, on that, bro, like I mean, obviously, anything we don't have a massive audience yet, but anything we can do to help promote the new center launch, fucking 100%.
I'll let you guys know, man, 100%, because it's going to have a lot to do with the veterans and stuff like that. I want to try and get all the veterans to fucking build it if they can. I'm going to put a big thing out to try and see if we can get the veteran tradies and all those guys to come. Yeah, do it all together. You know what I mean? Make a bit of a veteran thing of it if I can. If those people are around. So, but yeah, once it's going, we'll do a big lead up for advertising and all that sort of stuff as well, and then just fucking smash it.
Yeah, sick. The final thing was, mate, I'm going to ask you on air so you can't back out of it. I would love to see, I don't think you'd back out of it anyway, but I would love to see.
Is that you want to see me in your Swiss 8 TikToks?
No, well, that too, yeah, I'll send you some. Fucking oath.
I'm no Mr. Russell, mate.
I don't try and catch blokes out there, watch them in TikToks, mate. Don't worry about that.
Body like him, mate. I'm going to wear a shirt sometimes.
No, I'm keen to get, like, we could pretty much grab everything that you've explained. I want to get like an intro to dog training program on the app. And it's not, I don't want to steal like your business or anything, but it pretty much the stuff you've told us.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's people out there that are like, I've got no fucking idea where to start. I'd love to put something on the app where it's just a real basic intro, telling your dog to fucking walk around in a circle. Like, shit, I'm taking that to the bank. If anyone sees a dude with 2 kids in a shopping centre doing circle work, that's me trying to tell my kids to fucking stop being naughty. Like, if we could shoot, if you're interested, man, we'll shoot like a basic intro to your puppy stuff. Yep. And then that way when people do the basics, they're going straight to you for proper training. Yeah,
sure, man. No worries. I'm more than happy to get it out and help your organisation as well. No worries. Just work hand in hand.
Even intros, like the intro programs we want to start doing, and again, I've got to run, but I'm the one waffling. They're not so much like you're not going to pick up an app like ours and go, yeah, I'm going to watch this 5-second video and then train my dog. Obviously, there's flaws to that. That's why YouTube's fucking up the industry. But things like what your lifestyle is and what type of dog you should be looking for, that's stuff that most people don't know. Most people watch movies like John Wick and go, it was really sick in that movie, or they're chicks and they go, hey, I want a dog that fits in my handbag. I know nothing about it. I don't know what it eats. I don't know how much I just know that it looks good on Instagram. They go and get that one. Like all the basic shit about getting a dog and treating it right and what you kind of need. That's the perfect program to go on the app, to go intro to having a pet.
Yeah, 100%, man. If you want to, I can always put contacts for trainers around different parts of Australia as well that do teach that method, and would be more than happy to, help out the veterans or whoever with the Swiss 8 guys as well. So I could always send those guys a message as well. There's a massive group chat with those guys. I'm sure they'd be keen to get involved. So
sick, love it.
No worries.
No, mate, fucking, I can't believe. We could run this out for another 4 hours. But
yeah, I know, man. I know.
I just got to go in like minus 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Having you on, mate. The passion and the drive, and to go through the career you've done, and then to open up a business like this, I think people would be hard pressed to find a better place to entrust ESAs, dog training, anything, mate. Like I think. Yep. You're a fucking legend, mate. Thanks for coming on, and
no worries.
We'll have to get you on. And if there's any big things coming on in the dog world, mate, we'll get you on and maybe right some wrongs if another John Wick 4 comes out, mate.
Yeah, maybe. And no worries, guys. Obviously, awesome coming on the podcast with you guys. Like I said, I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I love what you're all about, and definitely wanted to get involved with this organisation, man. So anytime you need some help, just give us a buzz, man. More than happy to help you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.
Cool.